We have taken some steps. I appreciate that they've mentioned a few achievements, that we have a new head office as NUP, that we've been able to establish offices across the country, that we have a mobilization force. But one thing that we brag about is the massive awakening of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak here, be very sure that there's no longer a conversation of Arsenal and Man U, whether it's in the ghetto, whether it's in a Chirombe, on a border stage, wherever in the saloons, the conversation is the future of Uganda, and that is what has made Museveni very, very scared. Abantu tebakyawakana, tebakyasiba sente nti ani atebye omupiira ki. Basiba sente ani ayogedde ku nsonga ki. Basiba sente ani akolagana ne dictator. So abantu baffe kuva mu birombe paka mu ghetto paka mu salooni paka ku stage ya boda boogera ku mbeera gye balimu, ekyo tulina okyebaliza Katonda. Just a few years ago, the young people of Uganda were completely disconnected, governed, and that is how Museveni dictatorship succeeded in, consolidating itself. But I'm very glad that our people are focused about their country. Back in the days, you would not see a Rastaman come here talking about the future of his country. Fenatually disconnected. I cannot express the joy I felt when we saw a Rastaman here, our brother Charles. Just a few, years ago, in fact months, he was a shy guy, just minding his business. But to see that everybody is deeply concerned about the country and they are practically involved, there is no resource that we can celebrate like that. Our politics is not only left to politicians, no. Our politics left to the parliament, it is on the street. Our politics is not in boardrooms, it's in the ghetto, it is everywhere. It is in the music, etc., etc. So that we celebrate, ladies and gentlemen. But as we keep going, the fundamental question that man called Kauma raised should challenge all of us to find answers. Tujje muki mu conference eno? Tusinkanye just kugenda ku boat cruise kulya mmere? No. Let each one of us be reminded that we are such a force, and if we choose to use that force, man, we will save our country. Back in the days when Uganda was being ruled by tyrant Idi Amin, Ugandans came together in the diaspora. When Obote was in charge, Museveni had to go in the diaspora. He did not have the legitimate support of the population. Now all of you know, we can't reinvent the wheel. You are capable of doing that. I want to thank many of you. Banji sija bogerako, because while we have those that are out, that are openly working against the regime, be sure that there are many Ugandans that are patriotic and are working behind the scenes to make sure the Museveni dictatorship falls. We thank you. Please continue playing your part. So much has been said. I was very well represented by the words of our Deputy President, the Right Honorable Mathias Mpuuga. And even if I didn't reiterate, the message was delivered. However, I want to reassert a few things, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, the unity. Unity. It was not me that brought you comrades together. As a matter of fact, I saw the videos after I left prison. I did not call any of you. In fact, there was no established leadership in our diaspora. But when I was in prison, you guys came out, you demonstrated, you put pressure, and I owe my life to you. I wouldn't be living. So if you could do that when you were not led, when I was in prison, then I'm sure you can do even much more after I leave prison. However, our biggest challenge has been we ourselves. I notice the disunity, ladies and gentlemen, in the diaspora, and it disturbs me. And be sure it disturbs our people. I want to challenge all of us to realize that we are each other's resource, and each other is all that we have. And the more we are divided, we are doing it for Museveni. These divisions, in most times, are caused by petty power struggles or even petty benefits. But the biggest benefit is freeing our country. So, allow me to remind you that every time we show any sign of fighting against each other, that's what Museveni wants. In fact, Museveni can use us with or without our knowledge. These people that rule over us, they are united even in their evil. When it's time to rob Uganda's money, they stick together. When it's time to abuse the constitution or the law, they stick together. However, we are the slaves, but we see each other as opponents, as more fierce opponents to each other than even the dictator. Question is, who is your enemy? For example, when we choose to come together, it would be very disturbing to see that there are elements, even within us, that are working against that unity. I was speaking to some of our comrades. For example, when I came with Dr. Kizza Besigye to discuss the future of our country, because that is what you people want to see. Anti-Museveni forces working together. We don't have to be friends. But if we believe in the same, we must be seen to work for that same. Let our actions reflect our words. You cannot say we must stand together and you're seen to be working against each other. We are not each other's enemies. We are not each other's opponents. And I say that to the forces of change from different parties, the FDC, the ANT, the NUP. But most importantly, I say this to you, comrades that subscribe to NUP and the People Power. And this message should go to all that are listening to me right now. The people that follow us are watching us by our actions. You are not going to convince them about the need to stick together. You're not going to convince them that what we are saying is the same, that our objective is indeed the same when they see us as antagonistic to each other. When they see, we are not going to convince them that we're offering them leadership when they see us as forces in disarray. You're not going to convince them that we are in communication to each other when they see us organizing counter engagements, when we are one and the same. So that should speak to us. I like to tell Ugandans, era namwe nja bagamba nti abantu batulabira ku bikolwa byaffe. Friends, I was supposed to meet you last year. I didn't make it, and I'm glad I made it today. To the diaspora leadership, we believe in you. We trust you, and we hold you in high regard. But please remember that you are servants of the people. I was supposed to announce new diaspora leadership at the beginning of this year. But because the divisions that were earlier on in-house spilled out and they became public. So I saw it important to meet each of the teams personally. And that is what I've been doing for the last half a year. So that we get the challenges firsthand. And be sure that I am meeting all of you. And that by the next time we announce a leadership that I will have appointed myself,